What if you grow 1 centimeter every second? What would you look like? At first, you are no different from an ordinary person. Your height and weight are normal. But very soon, you will find that your feet are starting to get further away. After a minute passes, you have already grown 60 centimeters taller. If you were at a normal height, now you are basically tall enough to almost hit the ceiling. And this is only the beginning. Every minute that passes, you will grow another 60 centimeters taller. At the same time, your weight will also increase accordingly. After 10 plus minutes, you will exceed 10 meters in height, the height of a 3-story building, just like a giant in legends, and your weight would be around 1 ton. Of course, this kind of thing is impossible in reality, because of a very crucial physical law, called the square-cube law. The meaning is very simple. If your height increases by 10 times, your weight does not just increase 10x, but rather it increases 1,000 times. Your bones, muscles, and internal organs could not possibly withstand this kind of change. If you really kept growing like this, let alone walking, you probably could not even stand, and your bones would be directly crushed. Moreover, after the number of body cells skyrockets, heat production will skyrocket. Not only would you crush yourself, but you might also cook yourself alive. But in today's hypothesis, you will have no physical limits. By the time you grow to 10 meters tall, the house can no longer hold you. But this is still far from the limit. After about another 2.5 hours, you will grow to 93 meters, which is roughly the height of the Statue of Liberty from the ground to the torch. At this time, the entire city will look like a toy model in your eyes. With every step you take, the people around you will fall into a panic. Because if you take just one misstep, cars, buses, and roadside buildings will all be directly crushed by you. So by this stage, you are no longer just a giant. You are more like Godzilla or King Kong. Your arms will be as thick as tree trunks. Even if you do not do anything bad, the pressure under your feet is also enough to crush highways and even collapse underground tunnels. By the Empire State Building, you could even climb it easily and swat airplanes down while you at it. By this time, the city can no longer hold you, so you can only walk out of town. Hours after leaving the city, your height will have reached 326 meters. The Eiffel Tower's height, and your legs will be over 160 meters long. Having such long legs means your walking speed will become absolutely crazy. You will not even need transportation to walk all the way from one continent to another. But here comes the problem. At this size, just trying to eat your fill becomes an extremely difficult task. Normal food is simply not enough for you at all. A blue whale held in your hand might just look like a hot dog. Of course, in this scenario, you can overcome everything. By the time you run all the way to Europe, your height will have exceeded 1,000 meters. The Eiffel Tower might only reach your knees, while the world's tallest building, Dubai's Burj Khalifa, is only 828 meters tall. In other words, after just over 30 hours, you are already taller than any building on Earth. But you will not stop. After a week passes, there will be nothing left in this world worth for you to look up at. 10 days later, your height reaches 8.6 kilometers, and you can now look Mount Everest right in the eye. But a new problem arises immediately. Where you are standing, the air is already extremely thin. The altitude where airlines fly is right around your body. Atmospheric pressure there is only about 1/3 of that at sea level. You will experience dizziness and oxygen deprivation. Moreover, your stomach might already be as huge as a stadium, and your daily energy needs will be massive. Earth can barely feed you now. After 116 days, you will grow to 100 kilometers tall. At this time, your head will near the Kármán line, which is a common boundary line between Earth's atmosphere and outer space. In another 15 months or so, you will grow to 400 kilometers tall, and the space station orbits around this altitude. That is to say, by that time, the space station will fly past your head. Of course, in this invincible setting, you do not need to consider factors like vacuum, low temperature, and radiation. As time continues to pass, 11 years later, you will grow to 3,470 kilometers tall. At this time, a very ridiculous milestone will appear. Your height is about the same as the moon's diameter. In other words, you are big enough to approach a small celestial body. But even so, you still cannot touch the moon. Because what is crazy is not the moon's size, but how far away it is from Earth. In another 40 years or so, your height will be close to 12,614 kilometers. This is pretty much the diameter of Earth. At this moment, are no longer just bigger than things on Earth. You have grown big enough to approach a planet. If you lay down, you could almost span across the entire Earth. Your feet could even cover an entire continent. If we bring the real laws of physics back at this point, your own gravity would probably crush you into a ball. You are no longer human, but would turn into a fleshy asteroid. But today, you continue to ignore the rules of reality. Further on, your body is so massive that your gravity will affect the surroundings. Nearby satellites and rock debris will all be disturbed by you. 10,444 years later, you will grow to be close to the size of Jupiter's diameter. You will be much larger than Earth. At that time, saying you stand on Earth isn't accurate. It would be more like Earth orbiting the Sun together with you. 1,000 years later, you will be larger than any planet in the universe. Your eyes might be about the size of the moon. Earth in front of you would look like a tennis ball, and the moon looks like a marble. 1,220 years later, you will grow to 384,700 kilometers. This happens to be right around the distance between Earth and the moon. That is to say, by that time, you can really have your head touching the moon and your feet on Earth. You will become an Earth-Moon bridge in the truest sense. Theoretically, humans could even drive along your body, all the way from Earth to the moon. And at this point, you are beginning to enter a stellar scale. After another 4,400 years or so, your height reaches 1.38 million kilometers, which is roughly the diameter of the Sun. By then, you are already on the same scale as the Sun. All inner solar system planets could probably be cradled in your hands. Your mass and gravity will disrupt the entire solar system's operations. The orbits of the planets will be altered by you, and the solar system might even become like a binary system, the Sun on one side and you on the other. But this is still far from the end. After 476,000 years, you will grow to 1 astronomical unit, which is the average distance between Earth and the Sun. If you stood at the Sun's center, your head would just about brush against Earth's orbit. By this time, you are no longer just moving in space. You yourself have become a unit of measurement in astronomy. After 9.5 million years, you have grown to a size similar to one of the largest known stars, Uysqt. Your length will reach billions of kilometers. Ordinary stars look like tiny dots in front of you. After 29 million years, you will grow to about 60 astronomical units, which is roughly the scale of Neptune's orbit. In other words, you will become a person about the size of the entire solar system. From now on, you will enter a truly absurd stage. After 3 billion years, you will grow to 1 light year tall. And after 300 trillion years, you will grow to 100,000 light years. This is already roughly the scale of the Milky Way. You are no longer a giant, nor are you a celestial body. You will become a galactic-level entity. Keep in mind, the age of the universe is only about 13.8 billion years, and the time it takes for you to grow to that level is many, many times that amount. But as long as you never stop, theoretically, a day comes when you outgrow the largest black hole, larger than the largest galaxy cluster, and finally, as tall as the entire observable universe. How many years is that? That would be after approximately 2.8 quintillion years. This number is so huge that it is meaningless. Roughly 200 billion times the universe's age. By that time, your height would reach 93 billion light years, which is the scale of the entire observable universe. At that point, your mass would walk space-time. You no longer just exist in space. You yourself would define the space and time around you. Of course, by the time that happens, many things in the universe might no longer exist. Galaxies would have long drifted apart, stars would have long burned out, and even protons might have completely decayed. Yet you would still be like a cosmic giant, floating there all alone. By then, even looking down to glimpse your feet would require waiting for 93 billion years, because even light would have to travel that long to journey from your feet to your eyes. So sometimes, it is not that you are too small. The universe is just too massive. I am Lama. See you in the next universe.